Welcome back. All right, so we got 5 games in the NHL tonight to talk about. And if you cheered for a home team, you were not a happy camper tonight. That's just a general rule. It's one of those weird nights where, and so this morning, if your picks were, I'll just take all the road teams, you look genius. So there's that, and it does happen at times where you just take that. So again, if you do the betting line, you're like, yeah, I'll just take all the road team. Yeah, you come out ahead. All right. We're going to start things off with Detroit in against Pittsburgh. The Red Wings starting Pickard. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, boy, I wonder which Calvin Pickard we're going to get here. Calvin Pickard is a goaltender that I've liked, but his recent years when it comes to NHL games haven't been great. He's up against DeSmith. DeSmith's numbers coming into this game, absolutely nightmarish. So looking at the numbers and looking at the goalies, you would be forgiven for expecting a 7-5, 8-6 score. 17 wins in 21 games for the Penguins coming into this one. They've been excellent. Early Raymond chance deflects out. McGinn then has a rush chance that's defended. Good road start for the Wings. The shots are 2-0 in their favor 5 minutes into this. Hronek blasts one wide as the Wings press. The Wings then pressure, and that draws a power play. That's killed off. No shots, but the Penguins in neutral. So they killed that off. They don't allow a shot, but they didn't seem to be in it. Penguins were stuck at 2 shots with 5 minutes left. They get a press with 4 minutes left, but the opening goal is Giovanni Smith with a nice turnaround and fire at home from Gagne and Veleno at 18-19. It's a pretty perfect first period for the Wings, a period that Detroit doesn't normally play well. The second is usually when they play their best hockey. So, second period, early chance for the Penguins. Gensel has a net drive defended. In close, Rust has a chance that's saved. The Penguins get a power play. During said power play, Letang is denied. Gensel is not. Gensel gets the power play goal from Malkin and Crosby at 5:54. Larkin then has a rush chance that's saved, so Detroit doesn't sit back and they don't panic. The Penguins had a lot more jump and more opportunities. Halfway through the period, the shots are 10-5 in Pittsburgh's favor. Raymond was denied. The Penguins, though, get a power play during that stretch of play. Malkin has a chance kicked out. There's a Rasmussen shorthanded chance that wouldn't go, but that power play is killed off. The Wings then go back to the power play themselves. They score on it. It's Zadina from Rasmussen and Leddy at 16:31. Zadina's been getting a lot of opportunities the last few games. Nice to see him get a goal. Detroit's up 2-1. Wings then press with a minute and a half left. So we're going to the third period with the score 2-1. Not for long. It's Gensel from Crosby at 27 seconds. So Pittsburgh ties it. The crowd's back into it, and here we go. Penguins then press for the lead. The Wings net crash. DeSmith covers it. McGinn fires one high as the Penguins press. The Penguins then draw a power play. Gensel has a tip go wide. That was killed off. The shots were 13-5 for the Penguins with 7 minutes left. In the remaining 7 minutes, there were no shots by the Detroit Red Wings. 1:41 left. We get 4-on-4 for 2 minutes, which opens up the ice, but we still end up going to overtime. In the overtime, Penguins controlling the faceoff. Larkin takes it, but he gave it back. The Wings then had a 2-on-1. Larkin was robbed. Marino has a chance that's saved. Bertuzzi has a chance that deflects high. The Wings control in the next faceoff. The Penguins steal it. Larkin would then get a rush chance. Malkin steals it. Wings take it back. Good back and forth in that overtime. Leddy has a chance that's saved and deflects out. And then in the final seconds, DeSmith makes another save. We go to a shootout. In the shootout, it's Raymond that gets the win for Detroit. And so your final score is 3-2 in the shootout for Detroit. They get back to 500, 19-19-6. For Pittsburgh, second night in a row, they get a single point, 27-10-7 on the season. So first Seattle, now Detroit. They can't feel good about these results. Shots, 11-5 Detroit in the first, 17-12 Pittsburgh in the second, 15-5 Pittsburgh in the third, and in the overtime, 4-1 Detroit. Final shots, 38-32 for Pittsburgh. Power plays, 1-for-2 for Detroit, 1-for-3 for Pittsburgh. The hits also favor the Pens, 25-23. Pickard, 36 saves on 38 shots. Good job. And DeSmith, 30 saves on 32 shots. Both of them improving their stats a lot tonight. And I thought it ended up being a pretty good goaltending matchup. I did not see that one coming. All right, next up. Minnesota in against the Rangers. It's Talbot versus Shesterkin, and it is King Henrik Lundqvist night, his jersey being retired. If your jersey was retired tonight, the team that retired it lost. So Henrik chants at the start, and there were Henrik chants sprinkled throughout this game. Zibanejad is denied early. The Rangers get a power play. Big saves by Talbot during that. That's killed off. Keep in mind, Talbot used to be the understudy for Lundqvist, and he believes that Lundqvist was part of the reason he stayed in the NHL. Also, Zuccarello, friend of the aforementioned King Henrik, and when he came over to play for the Rangers, Henrik took him into his home and introduced him to his family. So during the pregame ceremony, there was a nice moment too with Zuccarello and Lundqvist's family and all that. It was all great, and they had the big ceremony for retiring the number and everything. COL-CHI has a net drive that's defended the Rangers, controlling the play. Boldy can't bury one as the Wild finally got some pressure there. Kreider with a rush chance that's saved, but Barclay Goodrow, he scores from Trouba and Strome at 8:47. Halfway through the period, the shots are 6-2 Rangers. So the Wild looked flat. And yeah, the Rangers, maybe inspired by the number retirement ceremony and everything. Wild tried to answer, but they're kept to the outside. Kaprizov was then denied by Shesterkin. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 late in the period. And Kreider. Kreider likes that. He scores from Trouba and Zibanejad at 17:08. That makes it 2-0 for the Rangers. Then with 2:02 left, the Wild get a power play. Really strong penalty kill by the Wild, or strong penalty kill by the Rangers. Kills it off. So we go to the second period with the score 2-0 for the Rangers. Penalty shot for Goodrow, that was saved. And that was a fantastic save by Shesterkin. And again, you're looking at this as 2-0 Rangers. Shesterkin's been great all year. The game's probably done. But the Wild are good at fighting back. They do press at 4 minutes, those Minnesota Wild. In fact, 5 minutes into the second period, the shots are 6-1 for Minnesota. Rooney is a blast that's kicked out. There's a press by the Rangers at the half. However, Minnesota gets on the board. First, it's Fiala from Hartman and Ben at 12:18. At this point, the announcers are just talking to King Henrik. They've got Lundqvist there for an interview, so they talk over the play. The Wild get a power play, and while they're still talking, he says, don't let Zuccarello get one, and then he did. Zuccarello scores on the power play as if Lundqvist relayed the message down to him. From Kaprizov and Boldy at 13:47, and so that ties the game up at 2. Then Igor gets bumped. The Rangers react as you would expect that they would, so they weren't happy about that. And this was a complete reverse of the first period. It's all Minnesota. Last minute, there's a save on Zuccarello to prevent Minnesota from getting the lead. But in the third, Minnesota does get the lead. And it's Goodrow, who after the penalty shot he got was saved in the second, he gets the goal in the third from Fiala and Zuccarello at 1:49. He's just given way too much time, and it's post and in. The Wild then press for another. There's a centering pass to Zuccarello that wouldn't go. The Rangers get a power play. There was some good cycle. Lafreniere fires one wide towards the end of it. It's killed off. Trouba has a chance to deflect out. The shots are 5-3 for the Wild at the half. So they're just not giving up shots, which is a really good strategy. Boldy has a tip that goes wide. Kaprizov can't bury one. Things get scrummy after an Igor save with 2:52 left. Talbot denies Panarin. And with the goalie pulled, the Rangers score. But the referee says no. He says the goalie's pushed in. So that's not exactly how this works. So they reviewed it. The fans were pretty obviously upset with the call. And they come back to say it's still no goal, that the pad was pushed in. Now, the feed that they're showing was the Rangers feed, and the Rangers announcers were very upset. I know Rangers fans were upset. They were throwing things on the ice. But I think it was the right call because Talbot's pad is pushed before the puck goes in, and that has been called that way all year. So, again, I do expect that Rangers fans are probably still pretty ornery about it, but Minnesota wins this one 3-2. They go to 26-10-3 with the win. The Rangers drop to 28-13-4. They lose back-to-back games going into the weekend. They don't play tomorrow, which is good because they played last night. So the shots are 12-5 Rangers in the first, 19-7 Minnesota in the second, 10-8 Minnesota in the third. Final shots 34-27 for the Wild. Power plays, Minnesota 1-for-2, Rangers 0-for-2. Hits 23-18 for Minnesota. Talbot saves 25 out of 27. Shesterkin saves 31 out of 34. It was a very good game, very competitive, and Minnesota showed they are one of the better teams in the league. The Rangers are right there with them. And, yeah, so we'll see how the Rangers bounce back in their next one. Okay, moving along. Colorado, the Avs, and Chicago. And this game ended up being a lot more entertaining than it started out as. this was not the most entertaining game, but it was fast. This was kind of a, we got to get this over with. So it's Francouz versus Fleury. The Hawks get a power play. It becomes a 4-on-4. It's all killed off. The shots are 4-2 for Colorado 8 minutes into this. The Hawks get a power play, which was already their second of the game. Kane had a chance that was saved. Everything gets killed off. There were very few whistles or scoring chances at that stage of the game. The Hawks play picks up in the second half, but there's 17 shots in the period, but it just doesn't feel like an Avalanche game. There's not like all the highlight reel everything, right? Well, they take care of that in the second period. There's an early delay game call. The Avs get a power play and they score on it. It's Landeskog from Makar and Girard at 1:15. And it was a nice pass by Makar, and it's blasted home by Landeskog, who has way too much room to himself out there. The Avs then score to make it 2-0, but that was ruled as offside, so that one comes off the board. The shots are 4-2 for the Hawks, 6.5 minutes into the period. So for Chicago, the frustration is to this point in the game, they're probably out playing Colorado, but they're behind 1-0. Rantanen goes down. He does get up, though. It was after a hit. He was just down for a bit there. The Avs press with 9.5 minutes left. Newhook's denied as the pressure continues. Fleury was keeping it 1-0 until JT Compher, who had been dangerous earlier in the game too, he scores from Jost and O'Connor at 16:04. It was a really nice pass by Jost from behind the net as well. Newhook then with a net drive. It's nearly 3-0 on that. The Avs have a power play in the closing seconds. So, to start the third period, the Avs have a power play. They're up 2-0. They score during that power play. It's Landeskog from Rantanen and Kadri at 1:16. And this is where everything goes bonkers. It just goes crazy. First, it's Hagel from Murphy and Strome at 1:38. That makes it 3-1. Then it's Kane from Gustafsson and Seth Jones at 2:18. That makes it 3-2. But we're not done, because at 2:54, the Avs score again. It's Newhook. He gets a goal from Kadri and Burakovsky. We have 4 goals in about a minute and a half of the game. So that was more excitement in those 2 minutes than probably the 40 minutes of the first and second period combined. It was just ridiculous. The Hawks get a power play. It's killed off, but it does generate 3 shots. The Hawks fans try to call one shortly after that. The ref says no, so fans don't get to call that. Pressed by the Hawks with 8 minutes left. Francouz is down, but the Avs managed to clear it out. Kane would score, though, from Strome at 14 minutes. He outweights Francouz on that one, and Kane, very dangerous there, gets his second goal of the game. Goalie pull with 2:15 left, and that allows an empty net goal to happen. It is Kadri with the empty netter from Rantanen and Landeskog at 17:58. But Gustafsson scores at 18:31 on a puck that goes in off Landeskog to make it a 1-goal game again. So it's not done. This game's not done. Hagel was then denied. Kane was denied as well. And the Avs ice it with 32.6 seconds left. The Hawks call a timeout on that icing, which is good for the Avs because the Avs were gassed. If the Hawks had just gone to that faceoff, who knows? But at any rate, Makar would hit the empty net at 19:47 from the other end of the ice. That's the finisher. Makes it 6-4. That's your final score. It's not the prettiest game the Avs have played, but now they're 31-8-3. For Chicago, they're 16-21-7. Shots in this one, 11-6 Chicago in the first, 13-9 Colorado in the second, 23-8 Chicago in the third. Final shots, 43-27 for Chicago. Power plays, Colorado 2 for 3, Chicago 0 for 3. Hits, 29-26 for Chicago. Francouz saves 39 out of 43. Fleury saves 21 out of 25. And the 2 empty netters are the difference. So there you go. And now I need to change boards. Next up, Washington and Dallas. This is a bizarre game in that on the opening faceoff, the first play, and you've got Vanacek versus Holtby, and the number 56 is retired. That's Sergei Zubov. The Stars score right away, but it's challenged for offside, and yep, Pavelski's goal comes off the board. Then at 1:29, it's Wilson who opens the scoring for Washington, and that was really the big swing in the game. The Caps then press. Sprong was denied. Fox has a one-timer that's saved. Stars press at 6.5 minutes. The shots are 4 apiece. Caps get a power play. Ovechkin has a shot that's saved. Carlson doesn't. He gets the goal from Kuznetsov and Backstrom at 7:54. That one's through a screen. Holtby didn't have a chance at that one. Caps press for another. Eventually they get one. It's Van Riemsdyk from McMichael and Snively at 13:08. Stars then get a power play. They're down 3. They need to get something. It's kill off. Vanacek then denied Jamie Benn at the horn. So it's 3-0 after the second period. Caps continue to hold the Stars off. Shots are only 1 apiece at 5 minutes. There really wasn't a lot to talk about with this. The Stars get a 4-minute power play. However, really strong penalty kill by the Caps. Dallas having trouble setting up. The Caps repeatedly clearing it out. They kill off the whole 4 minutes. Not much happening for Dallas, and then at 12:03, things start happening for Washington again. It's McMichael from Eller and Schultz, and then at 16:50, it's Backstrom from Orlov. So it's 5-0 after 2, third period. Not much to talk about again. Shots are 1-1 at 4 minutes. So again, Capitals playing a fantastic second and third period, and just once they got the lead in this, it was their game. Ottinger makes saves on Sprong. He wasn't busy. He was only in for the third period. Stars just not generating much at the halfway mark. Caps press with 8 minutes left. Pavelski couldn't get to one. Stars just seemed to be off. Even the top line just not getting it going. Robertson had a chance late that was saved, but in reality, they just did not have the opportunities. Your final score is 5-0 for the Caps. Really impressive road game. Dallas took their home game out on the road. They won 4 in a row on the road in a manner they normally would at home. Now they brought their road game home, which is a problem because they were terrible on the road, and that's what this game felt like. So your shots are 19-14 Washington in the first. You don't want to allow that many shots. 8 apiece in the second, and then 8-2 for Dallas in the third. I don't know how many of those shots by Dallas were dangerous. Final shots 30-29 for Dallas. Power plays, Washington 2 for 2. So Washington's power play was costing them games. It wins this one here. And your power plays for Dallas 0 for 3. So the hits 17-14 for Dallas. Vanacek saves all 30 for his 4th career shutout. Holtby saves 22 out of 27. Ottinger saves 2 out of 2. And there really wasn't a whole lot for me to report on with this one. It was all Caps. And it was all Caps as soon as that first goal by the Stars got taken off because of offside. And it was offside. So legit call, and yeah, so kudos to them for getting off to a really, really, really good start. All right, last game up is Boston in against the Arizona Coyotes. So for the Bruins, they had won 16 in a row against Arizona, which is ridiculous. That's ownership of a team, especially over the amount of time that is. Now, it is Arizona, but it's Ullmark versus Wedgwood in this one. Early power play for the Bruins. DeBrusk has a net feed that's covered. The shots are 3 apiece at 7 minutes. Strong first half, I thought, for the Coyotes, holding their own with the Boston Bruins. Vakanainen has a blast that's saved, but then Haula opens the scoring from Pastrnak and Forbort at 12:30. So with that assist, Pastrnak now has an 8-game point streak. He has been very good through the month of January. Schmaltz would tie it before the period's out. He scores from Gostisbehere and Keller at 18:04. So it's 1-1 after 1. Second period, early press by the Coyotes. Pastrnak has a chance that's saved and held. DeBrusk with a net drive, that wouldn't go. Shots are 6-4 for the Coyotes at 8 minutes. The Coyotes press at 8.5 minutes. Marchand then whiffs on one. However, shortly thereafter, the Bruins get a power play, so that's all right. DeBrusk has a chance that's saved. There's Bruins fans chanting, "Let's go Bruins," and it was loud. Like, it was loud. And normally in an opposing rink, when you hear a chant for the road team, you'll hear booing from the home team. I didn't really hear that from Arizona. So McAvoy scores on the power play from Marchand and Pastrnak at 13:41. That makes it 2-1 for the Bruins. The Coyotes then get a power play. Kessel has a chance that's saved. Did the Bruins get a power play shortly after that? No. It turns out it was a Bruins player that high-sticked the Bruins player, and therefore no harm, no foul for Arizona. But Arizona would then get a power play with 27 seconds left. So that rolls over into the third period. In the third period, Forbort blocks out Ghost's shot. Ladd tips one wide. The Bruins kill that off. Roussel beats up McAvoy, so the Bruins get a power play. I don't know how else to put this. It's not a fight because he just beat up McAvoy. Here's some punching. Signed, Antoine Roussel. So yeah, and he, McAvoy didn't get him anything. So the Coyotes do kill that off, but then the Bruins get another. We end up with 26 seconds of 4-on-4 action. The Coyotes get a power play out of that. Everything gets killed off. Galchenyuk with a rush chance, that's defended. Marchand with a net drive. There's a save there by Wedgwood. Pasternak has a chance to deflect out. The goalie's pulled with 2.5 minutes left. Not that Jack Edwards noticed, but they're not there in person, right? So if you don't see the empty net part on your screen, and I don't know if he sees that on his screen or not, probably not. Wouldn't know. It was Brickley that told him that they'd taken the goalie out a while ago. So Keller misses on what was essentially an open net. The Coyotes were pressing. They call a timeout with 1:41 left. There's a glove save on Keller, who had a very good game, just could not solve Ullmark. Ullmark was down on the ice and just making saves all over. Your final score is 2-1 for Boston. They go to 25-13-3 with the win. Arizona drops to 10-28-4 with the loss. That is 17 wins in a row for Boston against the Arizona Coyotes. Your shots, 9-8 Boston in the first, 14-12 Arizona in the second, 17-10 Boston in the third. So what a goaltending duel. Final shots, 38-32 for Boston. Power plays, Boston 1 for 4, Arizona 0 for 3. The hits, 28-22 for Arizona. Ullmark saves 31 out of 32. Wedgwood saves 36 out of 38. And yeah, I mean, both goalies were very good. Ullmark, again, his numbers have been solid. So the Rask versus Ullmark argument's going to continue. I think Ullmark should be the starter, but that's me. We'll see what Boston does. Anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.